When Azuka saw that her plans were not working out and the love between Uju and her husband, Ejike, was getting stronger, she decided to visit her uncle, who was a herbalist. She told her uncle all that had befallen her and how her best friend had betrayed her by getting married to the man she was supposed to get married to. When Azuka saw that her plans were not working out and the love between Uju and her husband, Ejike, was getting stronger, she decided to visit her uncle, who was a herbalist. She told her uncle all that had befallen her and how her best friend had betrayed her by getting married to the man she was supposed to get married to. When she was done with her narrations, her uncle advised her to leave the couple alone and that the gods were going to give her own husband. She became even more angry and refused to listen to the words of her uncle, but rather she visited another herbalist in another village where she was not known. After narrating her story, the herbalist gave Azuka 2 liquid substances and gave her the following instructions. The one in your right hand, put it in her husband's food, while the one in your left hand, put it in your friend's meal. After it has done the job, you can return and thank me later, but for now go and don't look back for any reason, the herbalist warned. Azuka took her leave and returned back to the village. This time, she reduced the way she appeared in Uju and Ejike's house so that she can perpetrate her evil plans without anyone suspecting her. After so many weeks, Azuka visited her friend, Uju, and her husband. They welcomed her into their home since it had been quite a long time. Uju was so excited to see her. They began to gist and talk about the good old days. Later, both of them went into the kitchen to make the meals. As soon as they were done, Uju left the kitchen to inform her husband, Ejike, that the food was ready so he could join them on the dining table, unknown to Uju that Azuka had added a powdery substance into their meal. Fortunately, no harm came to them, but Uju and Ejike's life never remained the same. This was the beginning of conflict between the couple. They argue and fight over nothing. The love that once existed between the couple went sour. Ejike began to hate Uju. Anything she does angered him so badly. A once lovely man became a beast in the house. He would hit Uju at any slightest mistake she makes. Uju's world was crumbling before her eyes, but Uju never complained or even discussed with anyone in the family. One day, Uju visited her friend, Azuka, and narrated her ordeal to her. My lovely husband has turned into a beast. I can't explain what came over him. He hits me at any slightest mistake. He rains curses on me and my unborn child. He barely comes home now. I don't know what else to do. She began to cry bitterly. Azuka pretended to be sad at what she just heard from Uju, but rather she was happy to hear this pain coming from her best friend. Unknown to Uju that Azuka's resentment and bitterness knows no bounds. But rather she gave her a wrong advice. Uju, I think you have to leave Ejike alone and return back to your father's house, Azuka said. Uju was shocked at what she just heard from Azuka. Azuka, you know very well that it is a thing of shame to a woman's family for a married woman to return back to her father's house after marriage. I will do no such thing, Uju said. Uju left Azuka's house unhappy and went back to her home. When she got home, her husband was so furious with her that she left the house for a very long time without preparing his food before leaving the house. So he pushed her out of the way. Uju fell to the ground. She wept bitterly until daybreak. It was a heartbreaking period for Uju. She was torn in between the decisions of either running away from the village or returning to her father's house to face any shame that comes with it. It was a hard time for Uju. One sunny day, a woman named Mama Abby stopped Uju on her way to the market. Why are you not dressed up yet for the marriage ceremony of your friend, Azuka?" she said to her. Uju was so shocked to hear this, but pretended as though she knew about it but was feeling unwell to go. She became so sad that her best friend was getting married without inviting her. But why would Azuka do such a thing? She thought aloud. She decided to see things for herself if what she heard was true. When Uju got to Azuka family's compound, she got the shock of her life. Her husband was the one getting married to her best friend. She felt as though the whole world had been pulled from under her. She couldn't believe her eyes and thought to herself that she was in a dream. She began to hit herself to wake up from her slumber, but it wasn't a dream. It was real. This was how Azuka became a second wife to Ejike, Uju's husband. She stood there, feeling her heart breaking into tiny pieces. She watched as Azuka and Ejike laughed and celebrated their marriage. Tears streamed down her face, and she quickly turned and ran away, not wanting anyone to see her crying. When Uju got home, she felt lost and confused. She knelt by her bed and prayed, "Dear God, please help me. I don't understand why this is happening, but I need your guidance and strength." Days turned into weeks, and Uju continued to endure her suffering in silence. Azuka, now a second wife in the same household, enjoyed her victory. She believed that she had finally taken everything from Uju. But deep inside, Uju held on to her faith and belief that God would see her through this dark time. One day, an old woman named Mama Yugo visited Uju. She had heard about Uju's troubles and wanted to offer some comfort. "My dear, I know you are going through a tough time," she said gently. "But remember, God never gives us more than we can handle. Trust in Him, and He will make a way." Uju nodded, feeling a bit of comfort from Mama Yugo's words. She decided to focus on her faith and trust that things would get better. Meanwhile, strange things started happening in Ejike and Azuka's house. Ejike, who had once been a loving husband, became even more hostile and cruel. He started drinking heavily and often took out his frustrations on Azuka. Azuka soon realized that her plans had backfired. Instead of living a happy life with Ejike, she found herself in a nightmare. One evening, Ejike came home in a drunken rage. He yelled at Azuka, blaming her for all his problems. Azuka was scared for her life. She couldn't take the maltreatment any longer, so she ran to Uju's house seeking help. "Please, Uju, help me," she cried bitterly. "I have offended you and done wrong to you. Please forgive me. I don't know what to do. I can't understand Ejike anymore." Uju was confused at what Azuka was saying. So Azuka confessed all wrongs to Uju. Uju was so shocked at Azuka's confessions. Despite everything Azuka had done, Uju felt pity for her. "Azuka, you brought this upon yourself by trying to destroy my marriage," she said softly. "But I will pray for you and ask God to help you find peace." Azuka, realizing the depth of her mistakes, broke down and cried. She confessed everything to Uju, telling her about the herbalist and the evil substances she had used. Uju listened and then said, "We need to go to the village elders and confess. Only then can we seek forgiveness and find a solution." The next day, Uju and Azuka went to the village elders and told them everything. The elders were shocked and disappointed in Azuka. They called for a meeting with Ejike and explained what had happened. Ejike, hearing the truth, felt a deep shame. He realized how much he had hurt Uju, the woman who had always loved him. He fell to his knees and begged for her forgiveness. Uju, with tears in her eyes, forgave him. She knew that holding on to anger and bitterness would only hurt her more. The elders decided that Azuka should leave the village and seek forgiveness through prayer and good deeds. Azuka agreed, understanding that she needed to make amends for her actions. Over time, Uju and Ejike worked hard to rebuild their marriage. They prayed together and sought guidance from the village elders. Slowly, the love they once had began to return. The couple looked happier and more in love than ever before. Uju and Ejike continued to work on their marriage, and soon, they welcomed a beautiful baby boy into their family. They named him Chukwamika, which means God has done well. Their home was filled with love, laughter, and the sound of their baby's giggles. Azuka, on the other hand, struggled with her conscience. She had left the village and moved to a distant town, where she started a new life. Years passed, and Uju and Ejike's love grew stronger. They taught their son the importance of faith, love, and forgiveness. They often shared their story with him, teaching him that no matter how dark times may seem, God is always there to guide and protect us. The moral lesson of this story is found in the Bible, in Galatians 6 verse 7, which says, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." This story teaches us that when we try to harm others out of jealousy and bitterness, we will only bring harm upon ourselves. But when we choose to forgive and trust in God's plan, we will find true peace and happiness. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you do enjoy the tale. If so, kindly like and share it with your family and friends. Please leave a comment on it. Subscribe to this channel and turn the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this. God bless you.